G'day 30-day challenges. Robert Somerville talking, and Ed has asked me to record a video on the subject of competition research. At this stage you should have a few market ideas and you should have begun the process of exploring the traffic potential for those keywords that relate to your market ideas using Word Tracker. Our goal in stage 1, the market and keyword research stage, is to find an umbrella phrase. Now, an umbrella phrase is a keyword phrase that has an acceptable amount of competition, and for me an acceptable amount of competition is probably a keyword with less than 25 to 30,000 competing pages, phrase matched, and an acceptable amount of traffic. Now we're going to explore the level of competition for a keyword using Google, but we're going to start off in Word Tracker, and I'm going to use a phrase that Ed mentioned early in the I think in day 2 of the 30-day challenge, when he was doing some of his market research videos, and I think he was exploring a page and looking at the phrase speed reading. So I've entered speed reading into Word Tracker at freekeywords.wordtracker.com, and this is the traffic profile for the keywords starting with speed reading and the long tail keywords underneath that. Speed reading, Word Tracker is saying, has 419 searches a day, and speed reading free 61, and so forth. Now these are estimates of traffic, total traffic across the whole internet by Word Tracker, scaled up from the limited data set they have from Dogpile and Metacrawler, and scaling up to represent the total amount of search traffic online, including Google. Now, Word Tracker is often accurate, in these estimations, but there are some keywords where they're not accurate, and we need to check that out further. And in a later video, I'll be showing you a Google Trends trick where we can get an indication of what the potential traffic might be in Google, which has about 55 to 60% of the world's traffic. Okay, so our starting keyword phrase is going to be speed reading, because that's got the most traffic. Let's go and have a look and see what Google tells us the traffic potential is for that phrase. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to type it in to the search engine in broad match form, which is the keyword phrase with just the words and nothing else. And we can see that Google tells us there are 117 million pages online which have the words speed and reading somewhere on the page, but not necessarily together. That's a lot of competition, and certainly we wouldn't expect to be able to compete effectively using the strategies that we're going to use in the 30-day challenge. But at this stage we only really need to be interested in what the phrase match traffic is, and we find that by entering the keyword surrounded by inverted commas in Google. And if we click on search, we now see that there are 1.38 million competing pages, and this is also extremely high, and certainly wouldn't meet our criteria for an acceptable level of competition for an umbrella phrase. But before I move on, I want to show you a phenomenon that you may not be aware of. I always set my Google search returns to show 100 returns all in one go, and I do that by clicking on the preferences link here and setting the number of results per page to 100. Now if I scroll down to the bottom of the first page for this phrase and I click on the 10 here, which should be showing me the returns from 900 to 1000 in ranking, you'll notice that Google is now telling me that although there's 1.38 million pages, there are only 728 uniquely different pages with the phrase speed reading on it. The rest of them are very similar to the 728 and have been omitted. And effectively those pages are going to be on the supplemental index held in Google, not the primary index. So this is a rather interesting phenomenon, because we started off with 117 million pages, of which many would be supplemental, for the phrase speed reading. We came down to 1.38 million for the phrase match speed reading, where those words have to occur together and in that order. And in actual fact, there are only 728 unique pages with that phrase on it. Now, this phenomenon exists for almost all keywords online. Google in particular, but all the search engines, really are slightly pulling the wool over our eyes about the actual amount of the actual amount of optimized web pages there are for any keyword. It doesn't matter what keyword you type into Google. Generally, they return hundreds, if not thousands, of pages. But very little of those pages are actually optimized specifically for these specific phrases. So there's a lot more opportunity to bring optimized copy onto the internet and have it ranked high for a keyword than you might otherwise think just by looking at the broad match returns. Nevertheless, for this particular phrase, speed reading, this is still too high. Now, if we go back to Word Tracker, you'll remember that the second keyword with the second most amount of traffic, 61 searches a day, was speed reading free. So why don't we go and have a look at Google and see what the level of phrase match competition there is for that keyword. Well, if we go and have a look at the broad match return again, we start off with 88 million. We think we're heading down the same track. Speed reading was 117 million, speed reading free is 88. But let's just check the phrase match competition just in case. Oh, and lo and behold, we're down to 581. So what this is saying is there are 581 pages which contain the phrase speed reading free, where all those words are together and in that order. Now 581 is well within the sort of recommendation for competition that we're suggesting for the 30-day challenge, which is say something under say 25 to 30,000. So this would be a candidate umbrella phrase, speed reading free, on the basis of competition. But it will only be a truly umbrella phrase for us if we can confirm the traffic potential that Word Tracker suggests. It's saying there's 61 searches a day, which is really a little bit low. I'd prefer to see something which is around the sort of 80 to 100 or better. But for the purposes of this exercise, in relation to competition, it's acceptable. And in the next video, we need to go off and check the actual traffic potential and just confirm those Word Tracker numbers using a little trick I developed using Google Trends. Okay, to summarize then, we're looking to find a keyword with an acceptable amount of competition. In order to do that, I started off in Word Tracker, where I've probably done my initial keyword research, and then I go over to Google and enter the keyword in inverted commas in Google to establish what the number of competition pages there are for that keyword against in phrase match form. Alright, that's it for this video, and in the next video we'll be talking about confirming the traffic numbers and completing the keyword research part of the 30-day challenge.